I've been sitting in meditation for over 60 years. At first, I had no idea why one did it. My mind was kind of wild. It just bounced around. And it took me a couple of years of really strong dedication to just resting my mind in myself. In other words, I didn't try to pin my mind anymore, but just to rest into what I felt like was me. That me changed over the years where that was. But now I get into, you might say, trances, a very short period of time after I start sitting. And what can I say about this state? It's utter happiness. There's no misgivings, there's no negative thinking going on. Just glad to be alive and sitting with you guys. But that's the meditation aspect. I've noticed too that when there aren't many meditators in your group, it tends to get sloppy. When there are meditators who are used to practicing, there's nothing better for you to relax into yourself, into a state where there's really no mind. There's just beingness. And so for half an hour or so, I just rested myself. And that's not such a bad experience after doing this for many years. I can say without a doubt that I'm happy. And I've been happy for the last 10 years or so. But there's a kind of happiness that comes with sitting meditation that's different. Because once there's a certain level of stillness available to you, and you're still, if you allow your consciousness to just fall into your body, and instead of concentrating on something outside, you can concentrate on something inside, like whatever you're most aware of. Or you can sit and feel the entire field of consciousness that you're aware of, from your thoughts to the position of your body to the arising of different mind states. Now, what I feel every time I practice meditation is a very quick submersion in no mind, and just resting in the totality of my consciousness, which right now involves you in a conversation. When you can look inside and consciously descend into your body, bring your body with you, bring the intention on your body with you. I generally just start feeling happy almost right away. But in just 5 minutes, I'm pretty deeply into the meditation. And the happiness now turns into something different. It's bliss. It's bliss. Like whatever lights your mind up, going down there and resting there is what I enjoy. The feeling of consciousness without an object. See here, right now, I really don't have an object in my mind. It's all me. I turn my attention on my body, and I notice my brain chattering, and I notice my mouth talking. At the same time, I notice my body and what the totality of me feels like. There's a solid state that when you go deep into yourself, the meditation progresses deeper. There's less movement. You're still with the mind. And as you focus your mind on what's ever happening to me at the moment, a lot of that involves the background that I'm in, which here is extremely still. And I feel good. I feel more than good. I feel a huge measure of bliss centered in my chest, reaching downwards into my stomach. And with the coming of the bliss, my concentration goes deeper. I can't tell you much more about it than this because I would be unconscious to the world in another minute or so. So, my advice is sit as often as you can, little bits at a time, no more than 40 minutes at a sitting period, and then rest and continue it maybe. The whole key is to get to a place where you can leave your consciousness behind and sort of drop within, no longer directing it, and let your deep self guide what enters your consciousness. But the point in this practice is the meditator feeling the divine bliss of resting in one's own self. I can't really describe it much in other terms than bliss or almost a crushing sense of being myself in my body, enjoying my immersion of my consciousness into my body consciousness. But there are all kinds of things that can happen. I can go into deeply meditative state where there's nothing. I just tune out. I could go into a state when I look within, all that I find is light. No solidity. Other times, it's like falling asleep and waking up into my own self. The end point of meditation, though, is welcoming the stillness of mind, for in that stillness is everything that you need to know about yourself or anyone else. You can feel the depth of it, that it matches your own infinite depths. But we're all on, let's say, 5 or 6 levels less than that. Sometimes we just go inside to get away from the tumble of the world. And then meditation is a rest. But usually, for me at least, it's going much deeper than that. It's going to the place of no mind or no awareness of mind. And then of complete stillness within that. Consciousness is steady, and it's focused throughout my whole body now. And at this point I can play with my experiences and modify them. Just play with them. Play with your sense of self or your sense of beingness in this place. It'll give you a happiness that is light but burning. It's a burning happiness. It burns and makes you happy. And then after a while, The burning disappears and there's just quiet. All the time your mind can go from one place to another, to not existing, to existing but holding on to a chant or a feeling, or just the sense of being aware, to let it overtake my entire body. And for an hour or two every day, I'm absolutely still. And after many years, the storming rebellion against the practice has disappeared. And I reach deep inside myself very easily. Now I can just stay here in stillness and be with you. Or try to talk to you more about this state and similar states in meditation. If you are encountering a place that feels scary, or aggressive, just stop. Get up and do something else. This goal is to become aware of all the awareness you can within your sitting self, with your body, with your mind, and with your feeling of bliss. And you'll feel yourself growing happier in your outer life. Once you know how to sit, once you know how to sit, and you sit within yourself, you're always accumulating joriki, spiritual power. And that comes to your assistance in whatever you do. You take your entire mind with you on your quest. And your consciousness follows what is being concentrated on. So get used to falling asleep in meditation. Get used to sometimes disappearing in meditation and not being aware whether you're asleep or awake. And just realize at the start that you're doing this meditation right now. This meditation practice becomes the foundation of deep peace over a period of years. It's quite a talent to be able to sit down and within 5 minutes to be still, and 10 minutes to be deep inside yourself, to the place where you even no longer even feel the bliss. You're just conscious. And I know you will too. If you're practicing meditation like that, you're going to watch what happens a lot more often than the average person. You'll be sitting every day for an hour or so. For me, the optimal time sitting was 25 to 30 minutes, then 5 minutes off to do walking kinhin, and then a second session of sitting. This served me well. In this state right now, I can touch so many areas in my consciousness, such as awareness of my feeling of my physical body, the feeling of happiness inside, the feeling of being immersed in my deep self, the closest truth I have to pure being in myself. And over the years, watch how meditation changes. The more and more you get rid of the spontaneous thinking that goes nowhere, the continual obsession with getting things done in the world, the obsession of our minds with their own selves and our own emotional battles. After a while, those all pass away. So why do you do it? Well, it's not a bad feeling to be happy all the time. That's kind of a winning thing to happen. To be able to feel your own happiness within your heart. Because as I look and feel around, my physical body is embedded in the room that I'm conscious of, even with my eyes half closed. Sometimes I just want to shut up and sit. Once you become more than a beginner in sitting, you can be more conscious in the development of your own yogic powers. This is when they happen too, mostly. Not for the absolute beginner, but to those who learned early to sit and to go into trance, go into inner peace, or just go into bare consciousness. There's so many different places you can go and experience. But generally, if you do a group, you do a sitting of 25 minutes, kinhin of 5 minutes, and then another setting of 25 to 30 minutes. That's good enough. This is not a weightlifting event. It accumulates. Your ability to tend to nothingness, or to somethingness, or to consciousness, or to your mind, just increases immeasurably. And as an added benefit, gradually over the years, there's nothing in the world that bothers you anymore. There's nothing in your life that bothers you. All is ironed out. And you just feel the bliss of consciousness along with the awareness of your body or your mind. Sometimes the unity consciousness becomes so great you lose consciousness with the world again. But that comes back. Where you go in that utter darkness, that other stillness, I don't know, because I'm utterly still and utterly dark. But when I come out, I'm immersed in joy. So whatever happened felt good. As to sitting, I had very knees sensitive to the twist that you have to do to sit. Either cross-legged or Padmasana with the soles of your feet pointed upwards, cross-legged. Or into just being happy, like returning from doing that. But now I spend a lot of time just feeling the happiness and the lack of feeling of drive to get something done. I'm completely happy. Just being happy and doing nothing, or sitting in satsang. Or what I do a lot in the morning is lie in bed for an hour or so. Just relaxing into the world. I don't know what consciousness is. I mean, I don't even see how it matters. sometimes it seems you want consciousness to go away because you're aware of so much pain or aware of something else in it. But ultimately, in the end, silence is your friend. And sitting is where you greet yourself more deeply every time you do it. Right now, I feel a wave of happiness washing through my body and my mind. Sometimes it does this to direct my attention somewhere. Most of the time, I don't think it means much in terms of direction or what to do. But gradually you get used to being nothing. And you get used to having your body from inside rather than from your brain. That is, I feel myself centered in my gut, not my head. And I know I like this space a lot. I don't like talking from it because it destroys the perfection of the moment of just resting in that still self. But I'm aware of my body, legs, head, and then the awareness disappears and goes elsewhere, like into the peace within. Does anybody have any questions?
Ed, it's Michael T.
Hi.
Thanks for the sangha is beautiful as always. Um, I've wanted to ask you if this whole process seems to be makes one phase out of the mundane world and go into this new area where the mundane world actually the things you it that you normally do through the years past seems to you don't like it as much. It seems like you go into a new life area where you're just shedding your mundane world, and it's almost like if you don't handle it properly mentally, that you could get in sort of like some people could be vulnerable to maybe a depression state or something, because the mind still tries to cling on to the past, or the rituals. All the things you like to do tend to not become as important, and then you get in a state where you're going, oh my god, I'm losing I'm going somewhere else here, and I'm losing this other stuff. So you got to really have to deal with those conflicts, it seems like.
You have to, yes. It's just a learning experience. Best done gently so that you don't run away, and very constantly. You never miss meditation if you can. In 7 days, you're going to have at least 14 periods of meditation. And you start feeling yourself falling into yourself. It's the strangest experience. But the self you normally feel is yourself. That silence within, that darkness within, becomes more sweet and gentle, and wants to take you lower into itself, into you. Eventually, you learn that there's not too much even to this consciousness. Doing nothing or being nothing are the same. What you get is a sense of overwhelming happiness. Nothing in the external world bothers you anymore. Nothing in your internal world bothers you. You feel happy all the time. But that takes years. But the happiness is intrinsic to dropping into yourself. It's experiencing your own nature directly. Direct your attention into your heart, and you can feel it throughout your body. And when you feel it come, you can feel it come with a kind of visceral feeling or touch. But you always are learning more and more about peace, consciousness, and happiness. You can also ask the question, who am I, to yourself, and struggle with that for a few years. That usually brings concentration onto consciousness very quickly.
It's Michael T again. I'm wondering, we're blessed to have a teacher like you. You had Robert. It seems like there's just a small group of people that, through time, get magnetized to the practice. What's there's billions of people out there, and the life force machine just keeps pumping out more people and people, and we're getting in the age of technology where it seems like the human race is getting further and further back from practices such as this. So, what is the commonality here? It seems like everybody out in the regular world, I shouldn't say everybody, but the human race is cracking a wheelbarrow into disaster or something. I, I just don't get it. I know it's not worth thinking about, but it seems like it's happening. And what's the reason? It seems like more and more people are being created and more through the advances of technology and video games and all these other things that people are entertaining themselves with. Do you think our race is going to be able to turn it around in 100 years from now?
No, I have no idea what's going to happen 100 years from now or even 5 years from now. It's possible that there's a big catastrophe, but I doubt that too. We'll probably just keep stumbling along until another teacher comes into the scene with another message that brings one's attention to one's own self. And that's what it does. It brings one's own attention onto one's own self. And that's the beginning.
And then is it the unfortunate reality that there's going to be millions of life forms that perish and don't even make the attempt or have an element of this growth?
What am I supposed to do? Become the teacher of a billion people who don't know that I exist? Do you know how active I'd have to be to become a world teacher? And do you know how much I'd lose my equanimity if I had to work a lot? It's a nice balance. But anybody else have anything to say? A question, a comment, a criticism? Okay, I'll see you in a week. Take care. Bye-bye.